Oh, what's up? Welcome to the Unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number, 212? I am Adam Choit. To follow the show at Tedeschi Trucks podcast on Instagram. Please subscribe on YouTube and whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. I'll definitely be getting out an audio version of this episode. Patreon.com/TTB podcast to support. Thank you, Kathleen, Stacy, Troy, Daniel, Mariah, Bo, Marion. Definitely check that out. I appreciate the support. Patreon.com/TTB podcast. Weedside and Woodside, support Randy, supporter of the show, great music fan for all your THC CBD needs. It's a great dispensary in Woodside if you're in the New York City area. What's up, Suzanne, in the chat? Howdy to you. What are we talking about today? We are talking about TTB in Franklin, Tennessee, in Raleigh, North Carolina, and in Charlotte, North Carolina last night. And I got a guest on representing each of those shows. We got all three of them returning. We got Michael Drumm representing Franklin, Tennessee. We got Joe representing Raleigh, North Carolina, and he was at the Mule Show last night as well. So we can talk a little bit about that too. And of course, we got David Flamm coming back here to talk about Charlotte last night. We got three exhausted gentlemen, I'm sure, ready to dive into the music. I got TT Bass ready. I got the posters ready. I got some social media stuff ready. Let's get into it. What's cooking, guys?
Good evening.
Hey.
Is everybody back home? Is everybody?
Yes.
Everybody's back home. So David, you're back home in the Atlanta area. Joe, you're back home in the Charlotte area, and Michael, you're back in
Denver,
that's right. Because you've been throwing. I'm trying to remember. Because I'm like, is he from the show he talked about? Because I know you went to Tulsa and you've been to a bunch of other shows, traveling around. Good stuff. Everybody's tired. Everybody's doing all right though.
I was never tired, and I'm doing great.
It was both shows that I went to this weekend. It was just an amazing weekend of music for me. Having, obviously it's always great if Warren and Derek can get back together again because of the way those shows worked out. It didn't happen because of the travel and logistics, but seeing them back to back 2 nights in a row was not a bad way to spend the weekend.
Special music. Every show just seems super special. Just either it's the set list or it's a guest like Warren or they're playing new songs. There's always something that I often talk about that makes every single show unique into itself. Why don't we start with Michael and you tell me about the Franklin, Tennessee show, and I'll get some pictures of the venue and tell me about have you been there before? How far that's Tennessee's not near Colorado.
Nice geography.
So my friend Bill Schenk lives down in Clarksville, actually, Tennessee. I had never been there. And then the amphitheater's in Franklin, which of course is quite the Tony suburb. And my friend Bill had never been there. And it's an incredible venue. It's like, because a lot of Franklin is carved out of the rock. And so the back wall of the venue is all rock. And it's got it all lit up real nice. And so I had row 22 from the pre-sale back in March or April, whenever that was. And the thing nobody I knew had been there, but I had met a gentleman here in town who was from Franklin, and he said he was going. So anyway, the PA system there was unlike anything I've experienced before, as in unbelievably, something just was better about it. I don't know what it is, because all these venues, they have the opportunity to just have great PA systems, but something about this place. And then my friend validated. He says, yes, it's unique sound, as in whatever it is they've got in there. So I was just kind of godsmacked through the whole show. The first couple songs I'm going, okay, am I going to get there? And boy, did I get there. And it was really, And I thought Derek was playing harder and hotter and loud. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it was really a phenomenon what happened. And then they had Reese Winans come out for the encore. And they did Stand Back and then Space Captain with Reese. And I didn't know until today when I did that post that Reese was almost in the Allman Brothers back in the day. And so that was really intriguing. And I thought he was like going, okay, guys, you're going to add me. He was so into it. It was so fun watching him being himself with incredible body language, incredible chemistry. And he is one of the great rock B3 players without any doubt. And so that was a really nice. And so when Susan called him out, and of course Gabe was there, and then she made this comment about, wow, two of the most gifted musicians out of Nashville, and I get to be right here with them. Wow. It was really gracious. And he was just like he always was in their band. And it was really a lot of fun. And
that looked like a beautiful venue.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
For sure. Let's take a look at the.
Yeah, Michael, one of my friends from Atlanta, who I saw at the Charlotte show, was also there in Franklin, and he made comment of the beauty of the venue. Yeah, so he was very taken by it too.
And so this brings up a point. I've been into collecting all the foil posters as I go to the show. I'm not trying to buy them after the fact. But I was really surprised that Boston and this show didn't have foil. And I'm under the impression, I'm hearing scuttlebutt, that the management has been trimming expenses as it relates to certain things. And one of them is they no longer provide tubes when you do buy a poster. And the band used to always do that. Now it's just a a really super lightweight, clear thing that you put it in, which doesn't protect it at all. But anyway, don't want to go off.
I don't remember what show someone was talking about. It might have been Sun, Sand, and Soul, where they let someone, like, if you bring your own tube, they actually let you go back to your car to put it away and then come back to the venue. I don't know if that's the policy at most venues or not. But
I've been flying with it, and this time I forgot. And it did get a little dented. Nothing too bad, but I don't want to go off in that direction. It was just Derek was, we get to witness him being wherever it is he goes. And when he gets there, look out. And Nashville was really that. Not that any other show isn't, but this one was really special.
This was 2 sets? This was all one big set?
No, it was just one. They did not have a break.
Look at this set. Crazy Crying, Devil Be Gone, Who Am I, Feel So Bad, Kebbi and Isaac Jam, Let Me Get By, a new song, What in the World? We could talk about that. Pasquan, I Can't Make You Love Me, How Blue Can You Get, Midnight in Harlem, Made Up Mind Just Won't Burn, I Want More, Soul Sacrifice, and then an encore of Stand Back and Space Captain.
Amazing set. And the Pasquan, and I know, Warren had been with him doing it at some of the.
This was the first one post the two Warren ones.
And I just thought, I can't believe this is like the greatest he's ever played in his life. That was, what I was.
I wonder if it almost like gave him a fresh take, or because I haven't heard this version yet. I don't think there's audio of this for.
Well, the video I sent you is the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds of it. The one I sent you.
Right. I don't see a Pasquan here, but I dug into what in the world and whatnot. But yeah, I feel like Derek May. I wouldn't be surprised if he's comes up with some new fresh ideas and inspiration from just playing the song with Warren the last couple of times. But yeah, look at this set list. That's why I'm asking. Like, this is all one big set. That's super impressive.
It was just amazing.
3 new ones to start it out.
That's how they did Raleigh too. They did one big set.
And so David was asking me the morning after about the new song, What in the World? And I didn't even, and so I went to Setlist FM. It wasn't even on. The set list was on there, but that song wasn't in it. So somebody went back and edited and put it in there. Because
I was digging that morning. I was like, I saw this new song and I'm like, there's nobody on. I see nothing anywhere on this. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a new song out and there's like, crickets. And so I'm texting Michael. What is this song? I got to know what this is. This is something new. What is this? Let's
we can take
and then finally, somebody posted this with I don't know if this is the one with the people walking in front of them or whatnot, but there was one video that I saw.
Maybe we could take a listen. Should we take a listen for a minute? I'll try to cut it out at a strategic point rather than in the middle of a line or something like that. All right. I think I have it muted here. We're gonna unmute the tab.
No, that was coming.
Not only that, she was playing I don't know if that's a new guitar of hers.
Yeah, the Gretsch hollow body.
There's a singing since I lost you. I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it plain. You were in the snow, and I was the rain. What in the world am I to do? Never been a love so true. Hands full of gravel, hands full of sand. Show me a man, a girl that never stayed.
I'm moving.
Gotta love cell phone videos.
Somebody just saw Lisa Arnold. If you didn't know that, somebody saw Lisa Arnold there.
So that was I believe that was the first time.
Sounds like Tedeschi Trucks Band.
Yeah.
But that was
every song sounds like they put it out 5 years ago, 10 years ago. There's like such a familiarity with their songs, and if there's not upon first listen, it happens by the second or third listen at most. It's like these songs just grow on you so fast, and there's such a timeless quality to what they do.
But again,
Didn't they play those with the Warren shows? Didn't they play that song? I
Nope.
thought I heard that song. That was the first time they played it. That was a debut.
It was a debut.
Okay.
They played it again last night as well.
No,
they played on Friday night as well.
No,
might have had it in Raleigh. Yeah, you might have had it.
Oh yeah,
in Raleigh.
they did play. That's why I reckon
you heard it, Joe. Yeah, Raleigh.
I just heard it on Friday.
Yeah, no, we did not get that last night.
Yep.
So yeah, I think she had never played that guitar live before, and she made a couple mentions about it, and so yeah, it was a world premiere song, and her playing that Gretsch hollow body.
Yeah, what a beautiful guitar!
Is that a heavy guitar? Is that it's a I don't know.
No, it's hollow. They're hollow body.
So it's not super heavy,
Right.
The Les Paul is when she plays that's a heavy guitar. The sound and
it's kind of like go to Nashville, Music City, and then play a new guitar, which is somehow, I guess, that ties together.
Yeah, this is.
But this set, it was just, and my friend, he once we got to Made Up Mind, he was a lost cause in terms of not dancing because he had never seen him before, and I was keeping my eye on, I was looking outside my eye, and okay, Bill. And then by the time we got there, I just said, look out. I just leaned over at the beginning and said, look out. And of course, they just hit it out of the park.
They love playing that particular one live. It's been a consistent one in the set list for I can't even imagine how long. I guess because I was hypothesizing or guessing because it's the title track of an album, but also just the way your friend reacted to it. For maybe the newer newbies or the newer listeners, it's one of those songs where it's like almost like essential playing because they're going to get that sort of reaction from fans. You think that's part of the reason why Made Up Mind stays in the set list because it's such an upbeat.
It gives Mark a chance to be Mark.
Yeah, true.
And just to fully be who he is. And he just, every time he gets into it as if it's the most important time he's ever performed it, like every time. and it's just always a highlight because he is such a great singer, and so, but Alecia, I'm brain farting on a name. Alecia Chakour.
Sure, yeah.
She did not have a featured spot in this show, and I think that's the first time I ever saw a show of theirs where she didn't have a featured spot. Not that
no Bound for
Maybe
Glory, no Part of Me, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Space Captain, she gets like a couple little exchanges with Susan sometimes, but that's not really a big part. Yeah, that's true. I guess, yeah, you can't get everything. Derek, you failed us. No, just kidding.
No, I'm sure. And Gabe, of course, is from Nashville, so it was a big deal show for him.
Homecoming.
I give him a C+ on that set list, Adam. I give him a C+.
Wow. Wow.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
But the thing is, a C+,
Absurd.
even
Completely
a C+, just the set list choices by
Yeah,
TGP.
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
A++++.
You have to.
I think it's a great set list. I was teasing.
Yeah, you have to be there. You can't.
I've never
prejudge it.
C+.
Typical TTB is amazing. I remember Sean Roach described him. He's like, I'm like, how's the show? He's it was typical, and I'm like, so that means amazing. He's like, yeah. That's TTB is the baseline is amazing.
It always seems to be that and I think we talked about this when we did the Kofi recap. It always seems to be that the next show you see is the best show that they put on. And then the next show you see is the best show they put on. And it doesn't seem to go down. It seems to only intensify. Like when we were talking on Friday night and we were looking at, just our after effects of the show and just, the group of folks that I was with, it just seemed like every show they're just a little bit tighter, a little bit hotter, a little bit and it's smooth though. It's not like there's no forced action in anything that they're doing. Everything goes and flows in a really, at least it seems to us as the fans that way.
They balance the new with what's familiar in every sort of aspect of their music. Maybe is that something that's part of it? When we go to a show, we all know pretty much all the songs and whatnot, but they're never played exactly the same way. And again, the set list is no two set lists are even exactly the same. So you're always getting something fresh, but you're always getting something familiar. And that sort of principle idea thought even applies to when you're hearing a new song like What in the World. There's something that's very familiar, but also very fresh. But I think even more than that, there's such a timelessness, because I think there is a timelessness to what each of them does individually. Like these instruments, whether it's an electric guitar or a horn or just a vocal part or drums, there's not something that's ever going to make this music sound, I think, dated. Because in the 80s with synthesizers and some other instrumentation and auto-tune and some other maybe more modern or victim, musical ideas that are victims of certain times. You don't get that with TTB. That's why I think, when you hear Until You Remember, when you hear something from Made Up Mind, like all these songs just sound just as fresh as they do. There's just like the timeless. And that's always been like my kind of favorite kind of music. Like the Rolling Stones hits from the 60s and 70s, those pop, so to speak, just as much slap hit, whatever word you want to use. Those songs are just as awesome and sound just as fresh. Like there's something that's always fresh about Tedeschi Trucks Band.
Well, one of the awarenesses I came really up for me on Wednesday was it's really a jazz band that doesn't play jazz as what its chosen format, because they play everything they do. But that's where the solos can be a little different. The way they I've been noticing that now. There's certain songs they will just completely redo or do the arrangement in a different way. Derek's guitar solos, I believe, because Future Soul, because that's so short, and I've listened to a bunch of versions of it now, the live ones, and I don't think any of the solos are the same. And the one he did at the Greek in Berkeley was like he was playing backwards, and I haven't heard that exact feel in the other versions I've heard, but they all seem to be a little different. And I think that's the jazz piece right there, and that's what keeps it fresh for them. And I'm sure that's the ethos. Okay, gang, we're not just going out here and playing rote paint by numbers. Not at all. It's jazz.
if Elizabeth Reed, in memory of Elizabeth Reed and Les Brers and songs like this have had that amount of impact on me personally, I mean, I can only imagine that the impact of songs like that have had on Derek, and that's on top of obviously Derek's jazz interests and jazz background and knowledge of a jazz, and often wanting to fuse that into TTB, and especially it was a big part of Derek Truck's band and what he's done throughout his career.
And everybody who plays an instrument in the band is also a jazz musician, or at least jazz grade musician. So they can all hang with Derek and they can all do the Tedeschi Trucks band jazz, which I think is part of what's going on.
Well, they're all individually fantastic musicians, which allows them that flexibility to do all these different things with their music. And I remember seeing the interviews when all the albums came out from the pandemic, and when they were talking about all that, and Susan said specifically, it's an amazing thing when you get to write music with such talented people. It makes it so much easier because you're having so much more fun. You're enjoying, she mentioned, how big of a role Gabe played in some of the writing and some of the other things that they've done. But I think that all plays into what you're saying, Michael. I think it comes to that improvisation and how it flows with what they're doing, and being able to see hear the changes and learn from each other and have those jams go the way that they go, because they're feeling off of each other in that moment in the music. And that's an incredible thing.
And that's jazz.
Yep.
When you can do it on that level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And so the thing so kind of looking into Gabe a little bit, he's had so many solo albums. And most of his albums, I believe, have been more singer-songwriter kind of. And in this group, he's being the instrumentalist, which I think was the core reason why they gave him the invitation. He can hang right with everybody, and he's just as gifted on keyboards as anybody else is in the band. So the singer-songwriter Gabe, he gets to contribute songs into the albums, but I don't think he's doing this kind of outside playing like maybe he does. I haven't seen him live, but I know it's usually a trio. So I don't think I think this is the format where he gets to show off what a great musician he is and what a fabulous improviser he is.
I think he just needs to be, as I'll describe it, like well-fed. Even from being lucky enough to talk to him directly and kind of go into this topic a little bit, he needs to be able to show off and share and communicate his writing, his keyboard playing, his piano playing, his songwriting. He needs to be given enough room. They all do in varying amounts, all 12 members. But I think that's just something that TTB is going to have to continue to be conscious of, and making sure that that Gabe gets enough solo, enough moments, and enough space to shine in the band, because he's awesome, and the fans want it too. Like, Gravity shows off a lot of people's skills, but that's a song that, for example, we'd all love to see more of.
Well, I've had a sense in the past few shows I've seen that he seems to be more just part of it on a spiritual, emotional body line, and maybe it just seems like what you're saying there, Adam, is totally just. It's not like they have to plan it out. I think they understand Gabe is that gifted, and they want to utilize that. That's why he wrote the title track of the last album. It's like, and
they also give him enough space and time, which can be debated if that's a good thing for TTB fans or not when the band is on breaks and things like that. But he's obviously has enough time and to pursue his outside endeavors, and that it keeps that. I think that keeps a good balance between TTB and personal projects, solo projects, TTB, and all that. I can't help but think of the Allman Brothers, who would not go on it would be they would go on break, but they would be like mad at each other, and there would be drama and other issues involved, versus just like, oh, we're taking some time off, go on your solo album, versus It's better when it's by choice and everyone's on the same page with everyone's roles in the band.
From my outside seat, this band appears to just function perfectly in terms of all the musicians. I've heard Derek talk about it, and they have a really positive, open, inclusive, professional environment where he's got to make all these choices, and Susan as well. And I believe that everybody's pretty much happy. I'm assuming that, but it sure looks that way.
Yeah, we could dive into Raleigh. Talk about Raleigh.
Yeah. The Red Hat Amphitheater in Raleigh is actually getting moved one block down the street. So these are some of the last shows that are going to be at this location.
How do you move a theater?
So what they're doing is basically it's just, concrete and seats. So they're just picking up the seats and the stage area and all the concessions and stuff and moving it down one block. But they're rebuilding it with the way they're doing it because of the way Raleigh is growing. And where Red Hat is going to be part of the Raleigh Convention Center. That's why they're moving it. But it's got a really cool downtown vibe setting for Raleigh. I mean, I lived in Raleigh for 28 years before I moved to Charlotte. So, it's nice to go to shows there. I've seen a couple really good shows at Red Hat. It's a good part of town. There's a lot of things to do around it. So that makes it really nice. But it'll be interesting to see how they do it with the rebuild. But I thought the band was totally on fire as soon as they came out, like from the first song, and it was just so you could see that energy that they were going to come in with just right, at that first song, right with "Don't Let Me Slide," and they started that up, and it just you could see like, as they're building in each song, like how the show was going to go. And I'm going to tell you one thing, that 1999, the way that they do that song, I remember speaking to my friends afterwards and saying, I am sure if Prince heard them do that, he would love it because it's such a cool blues version, the way Mike sings that song and the way the whole band plays it. Like the tempo and how they go through it, it's just fantastic. And then I think Future Soul, I think that was another new song that they did.
Love that one.
Yeah, that's the one they've been playing probably. Yeah. And Crazy Crying, I think, of the two they've played the most.
They've been playing all of them.
Yeah, the one we haven't heard much anymore is Moon. Moon has been kind of quiet out of all the new ones.
Yeah.
This to me, Joe, looks like a good night for Mike. You had Fall In, 1999, Splinters.
Yep.
I Wish I Knew. I mean, that's a lot of you got. I mean, I love getting a lot of Mike Mattison. So I'm pretty jealous of how long of a drive from Charlotte to Raleigh?
It's about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain. I think that is that the same venue that they opened for Willie Nelson a couple of years ago.
No, that was that's the Walnut Creek, which is just like PNC where you went in Charlotte yesterday.
Okay, so it's a different venue. Yeah, I was in Raleigh. I didn't think it was this one. Okay.
No, and that Red Hat's like right in downtown. I've seen like further there. I saw Warren play with the North Carolina Symphony, play the Jerry Garcia Symphony show set there. I've seen a lot of different shows at that particular amphitheater. I mean, it's going to be interesting, the fact that they have to move it a block, but right now, of course, they're not closing it yet because they want to keep the revenue until they actually have to close it. So we're like,
wow, they have two amphitheaters in Raleigh, two different, this one and the other one there.
Well, so no, they're going to actually have more. So, wow. So Raleigh is actually expanding. They're going to have the entertainment and sports district around the Lenovo Center where the Hurricanes play. Where the Carolina Hurricanes play hockey and NC State plays their basketball. And they're expanding that. They're going to have a 4,000 seat arena there for smaller shows. And then they're moving Red Hat, which is like 7,000-8,000, and then they have Walnut Creek, which is just like PNC or like a outdoor theater like that. So they've got a few different now going in Raleigh because they're trying to bring more entertainment dollars to the Raleigh area.
It's just hard to get to. I mean, from Atlanta, it just seemed it's a hard drive. So we just stuck with just the Charlotte this go round.
Yeah, and where you were in Charlotte is about 20 minutes north of where I live. That area is also, that it's just the same typical, outside of town arena, outdoor arena area. It's not, I mean, it's nice. I've seen plenty of good shows there because of the way that they built the hill up and do that amphitheater style. I didn't know, did they have the back lawn open? Or was it just the lower seats?
No, there was no lawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
No lawn.
So that's what they usually do with TTB at those arenas because of the size of them. Which is kind of interesting to me because, when Willie Nelson did the Outlaw Music Festival, that they, of course, had everything wide open because of all the different bands that they had. But then TTB will come in with Wheels of Soul, and there's no lawn. It's only the pavilion seats. And I find that kind of interesting, obviously, because of the way we love them. We're going to be like, why aren't more people going to see these guys? But at the same time, we're like, no, don't get our tickets. We want our tickets.
Yeah.
We want our tickets.
Yeah.
Because I will say this, the Swamp Family tickets took care of us again with this Raleigh show. We had third and fourth row seats. So it was amazing, from that park because we're right there.
We did well with Swamp in Charlotte as well.
Yep. So it was just overall, the energy of the whole show was very good. The crowd was fantastic. It was a cold night. Some kind of cold front came in and it dropped 25 degrees in just 35, 40 minutes, it felt like, because it just got so cold. But luckily the band was playing so hot it didn't matter, right? So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, in Nashville, it was had been 75 and clear for a couple of days. So it was the most perfect night you could ever have there because it was, a month past the hot summertime. And it was really a delightful evening there.
Yeah, I think that TTB, that size of an outdoor amphitheater for them was really good. The next night, the Government Mule show that I saw in Raleigh was actually for this charity called Band Together, and they help a lot of disadvantaged families in the Raleigh area. And Government Mule was the headline for their annual event. And they raised $1 million this year in their event, so that was a pretty good deal. And the bands, I think, they donate their time for the shows and everything. And the Government Mule show was fantastic. And Edwin McCain came in and sat in with Government Mule on the Bob Dylan song, I Shall Be Released. And that was actually really good. I mean, I saw Jerry Garcia play it, a lot of times when I was younger, but hear it on different JGB shows, but that was actually a good version. And Warren and Government Mule was also just fantastic. I really feel like the energy you get from Government Mule, while different from TTB, you see why, Warren and Derek feed off of each other so well when they're playing together. You get how that kindred spirit of musician connects because you see the way that they play. And that to me is just amazing. It made it a very nice musical weekend. So for sure.
I'm building on that, Joe. I'm hoping that Warren announced he's doing the Christmas Jam again this year in Asheville. Yeah. And I'm like, well, they've been hanging a little bit. Maybe it's time for TTB to show back up at Warren's Christmas Jam this year.
Full TTB. Have Susan and Derek done that show?
That TTB did it.
2015.
Yeah. Were you there, Joe?
That was the first time I saw them live.
Oh my God. That set was amazing. And Warren did Keep On Growing with them. It was, I go back and listen to that show repeatedly.
David, I was probably 6 or 7 people back from the stage because it's standing room only.
Yep.
I was there. 6 or 7 people back from the stage when they played. And that was the first time I'd ever seen them. And I didn't move. And I just stared at them the whole set. Just watched.
That was a hell of a set. I think it was like an hour and 15, maybe an hour 30. And that's what started this whole thing for me. I'm up over that was a great show.
Yeah, I'm up over like 30 shows in 10 years just because of that one show. That started the whole thing.
What year was that?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
Warren's Christmas Jam with Tedeschi.
That was my first
Trucks
Christmas
playing.
jam. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the year they did the Mad Dogs and Englishmen with Warren there too. So that was a real exclamation. But I think that's a good call though to speculate that maybe this year they'll.
Maybe I'm hoping. I've already reserved a hotel room. The tickets haven't gone on sale yet, but I'm hoping. So we'll see what happens.
That's a good conversion or TTB fandom origin story. A lot of the time, not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just like, oh, I heard Midnight in Harlem, or I watched it on Clapton's Crossroads, and I was hooked ever since. That's a popular one. So
now, were you already into Warren, Joe?
I was into all of it. I just hadn't seen TTB.
Okay.
I just hadn't seen TTB.
You saw them the first time, and Warren sat in with them. It was
David, I went to the 2014 Allman Brothers shows at the Beacon Theater, the last shows that they played. So I've been to plenty of Allman Brothers shows, and I knew
and Derek shows.
I knew Derek. I had never seen Derek's solo shows, and I'd never seen Susan's show solo. So that was my first time seeing them, and the first time I'd ever saw Susan, and that was that show. So yeah, and I was so close to the stage that I just remember looking at my buddy Alex and going, I just feel every hair on my body standing on end watching these guys play. This is so amazing. And I was like, I'm being taken to church.
We must have just missed each other by this much, because I was at the last 2 Allman Brothers shows in the Beacon as well. So you got good taste there, my man. That's I was definitely shedding a tear that last night in the Beacon. That was a joyous but sad night. What a show that was.
Yep.
Every TTB song creates and has its own atmosphere. It's its own world. It's its own living, breathing creature, so to speak. But on top of that, 1999 specifically, it's also atmospheric. It's something different. It's a unique feel. And that's Mike always brings something unique to this band with his creativity in that way, for sure. It's interesting to see the diversity of music you get from TTB.
I think it was very soulful, like
bluesy.
That was like it was. You felt like that 1999 was just really deep inside what Mike was trying to get across.
It's a slow build also, but so are a lot of Tedeschi Trucks band songs in some regard. I wanted to read Jeff's comment here. They played for a long time and the band was on point the whole time. I thought the sound at Red Hat was really good. I wasn't sitting in the same spot at Charlotte, but didn't like the sound. So he was at both of those shows.
The sound at Red Hat was really, really good. And I don't know, obviously since I wasn't in Charlotte, I have no idea, but it felt like you could hear Brendan really well. And I always think when you can hear the bass with everything that Derek does and just all the different musicians out there, when you can hear the bass throughout the whole songs, like very clearly, I feel like the sound is right to me because it's not too loud. It's not getting drowned out. And yet the bass line, if you can hear that whole thing, I feel like it represents the music a little differently, at least to me, to my ear. And I thought it was very tight on Friday.
Well, that's the way Nashville was, where like everything was so clear and distinct and present. So you could hear everything. You could kind of orally hear all of it. And it was just the impact of it was profound. So I just want to say, if they play there again next year, I think a lot of people don't appreciate, if they haven't been to a show there, how amazing that venue is in terms of the sound that they have there. And so that's
Losing, or am I losing?
Let's take a look at that clip that you sent me.
Yeah, sounds like I need to
Michael.
go back there. If
so this is camera Mike from the 22nd row of the last 3 minutes and 33 seconds of Pass Gone. And that was from the screens.
I won't kill us if we say things over it. Okay. Adds depth to a band that has so much of it. so cool, these green. And the light.
Yeah.
Everything's timed perfectly.
Just the separation, even on that. I mean, it's just that venue is. I've been to a lot of shows, and I've been to 7 other ones with them this year, and that was like, oh, whoa, that is really special.
I've stopped videotaping or taking pictures during the shows.
I think you mentioned that, right?
I stopped doing that at Red Rocks a couple of years ago when I went and saw Tedeschi trucks there. So while I appreciate everybody else doing it, for me, I decided to stop. I will say I have like when I went to see Neil Young, I did in between a song snap a quick picture of Neil on stage just because I wanted to have that moment. but I try not to do that anymore. And it honestly has been really a nice feeling to kind of just be in that moment in the shows and not fumbling with my phone. But I also love when people do it, because then I get to see stuff like that. So it's mixed emotions.
I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you.
I don't want to be a hypocrite. My phone's on in my pocket,
As long as somebody else is doing the work,
Well,
Joe's cool with watching it.
The more I see them, the less time I tape.
That's what I find a little bit also. I kind of try to do a little bit of everything. I'll try to get maybe one song on video, then maybe just one song of just audio, and then a few photos, and then a few just clips, and then maybe that's just a little bit of it, just a sprinkling of everything, just in case I want to post something, or just for, my
because the focus it takes to tape takes a little bit away from how it just can get in and take over your central nervous system, which is
exactly why I believe that live music is the ultimate living in the moment situation.
No doubt.
And I just felt like my cell phone was distracting me too much. Now, I'm not saying I don't occasionally throw it out there, but I was in the habit of videotaping full songs and just doing that and like moving so I could get around people to make sure I got my shot and things like that. And now I don't waste that time anymore. I'm just focused on the musicians and what they do. And for me, it's made the live show experience enhanced a lot more. But I also, don't mind when I see somebody else's clips. So,
Yeah. And when I have something recorded and then I can go watch it later, then it's like, wow, I'm glad I got that. But then I'm going, oh, I didn't shoot that, but oh, well.
I mean, I understand like my buddy Alex that I go with, he was in the photography for a while. So for him, he's got a different passion about it, and I get it. And I understand that. And there's a couple of people local in Raleigh that are, part of the local music scene, and he's worked with them. He's written for some of their blogs and things like that. So I get some of where they're coming from on it, but I just kind of like, I'll step back. I'll let everybody else do that, and I'll just stay in the moment.
Well, my 2 cents for what it's worth. After a number of shows, I've kind of evolved. It's gone different ways. Sometimes I won't record anything. Sometimes I'll take some still shots. But for me, when I do the video, and Michael, I think you might have mentioned it, I do it on the Facebook Live, and it's not as good a quality. But what I kind of get from that is bonding with my friends that get on there, and they're actually experiencing it real time with me, right? So they're not that it's like recorded for them to see, and some of them do, right, the next day, but sometimes they'll pop on and that they're like experiencing it with me, that live kind of trying to just bring a little of that energy. And I don't know, we'll see the set list, but I did three songs last night in Charlotte that
I got to check those out, because Mama DD Radio did stream the audio on MixLR, and I only caught more or less the second half of the show.
Last night show?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I jumped in on until you remember. Well, I mean, let's pull up the venue, the set list. Tell me. Let's get into the story.
I give Derek an A+ on the set list. It was, I felt pretty freaking blessed to have the set list that we had last night. It was chock full of some of my favorites, some of their most popular as well. If you find it somewhere,
there we go.
Yeah. So, not like you guys we got a couple of the Anyhow, which I probably heard, first more often than any other song, and Do I Look Worried in the second slot, which I thought Susan on Anyhow last night she looked like she was having fun. She was feeling it. She was happy. She just came out and seemed like she was happy that it was a Saturday night and just having a good time. And then it went, and then we got a bust out that hadn't is everybody's got to change sometime. That was awesome. Mike came out and just that's one of my wife Ann's favorites covers, and I couldn't believe they went into. I think through here they said it'd been 35 shows or something since they played it or whatever. Was great, and I think it's been a little while since we've gotten the kind of the Derek and the Dominoes twofer there. Bell Bottom Blues and Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad. Been a little while since they've done those together, I think.
They did those in Berkeley together, I think.
Yeah. So until you remember, as Adam, I say every time on here, that's probably my favorite vocal of Susan's out of everything. Really cool last night. I Want More. And Adam, you listen to a lot of shows. I'd never heard Kebbi with a sax solo in I Want More. Very different and really enjoyable. Really enjoyable. Notice Derek kind of pointed over, and it almost looked like Elizabeth was like, "Who, me?" And then like Emmanuel was like, "Who, me?" And no, he pointed over to Kebbi's like, "I'm taking a solo on I Want More." And it was he just went off. It was great. That's
not always something that's decided in sound check. That's something that can be just decided in the moment, I guess, right?
Yeah, never heard him do a horn solo on I Want More. That was really awesome. And then I guess whoever it was, whether y'all got it in Raleigh or Franklin, got I Want More, and y'all had the Soul Sacrifice. We got the Beck's Bolero. And then one of my all-time favorites, Leaving Trunk. And Billy Payne and Fred Tackett came out. And if there's an audio still out there, Adam, if you can get to it, Fred and Derek, I don't know where the hell they went.
On Leaving Trunk and Volunteer Slavery?
God.
It was who was that again? That was guys from
Little Feat.
Little Feat, yeah, because I heard
Oh
Susan.
My God. It was Susan had a solo. Billy, I think, took the first solo on the organ, and then Susan took a guitar solo, and then Fred, and then Derek kind of joined in, and the two of them, I mean, it was special. I mean, it was definitely really a highlight for me.
I'm gonna have to check that. I haven't heard Fred go out so much. I mean, he's a great guitar player.
It was definitely like I'd never heard a solo on Leaving Trunk before. And then, of course, they wrapped it with Volunteer Slavery. And then, we got Midnight and Bound for Glory, which, Bound for Glory is my favorite original of theirs. And we got both of those. And then into with a little help. And I was like, oh, I guess we're done. I don't think they're going to do an encore. I guess they're just wrapping it up.
I'll confess, I did tune out of the stream after that because I thought it was the end.
Yeah.
I don't know if the stream continued in. I don't know if anyone in the chat caught the Mama Didi radio, but I did miss. Yeah, I Can't Make You Love Me in the Made Up
I was like, but then it was like, there wasn't any music at first, and Susan, it wasn't like a big goodbye. So it was I was like, maybe we are going to get a little bit more. And we got two more. I mean, it was yes.
It was.
Yeah.
It was amazing, Jeff.
It was, but Derek just over, as he does with the way he, meshes with people. It was definitely I would say it was one of my highlights of the year, seeing them this year. That Leaving Trunk was right up there with and Devil Be Gone, one of my favorite new ones. That and kind of Future Soul, I think, are probably my two faves off the new stuff. But Crazy Crying, Who Am I is beautiful. I mean, I was pretty stoked with this set list. It was pretty freaking good.
So David, did you actually get word into Derek that you were going to be there? Was there some kind of
no way?
We're going to make sure Flamm is blown away.
Nope. No, had nothing. I have no, no. I have nothing. I have nothing like that to do with that. But it was, yeah, it was a good Saturday night. I'll tell you that. And yeah, it was pretty. I was pretty stoked.
This is the venue.
Yeah, I was
Dance
Joe.
Pavilion.
I guess I was at that venue right 2 years ago with the Willie Nelson thing, right?
Yeah.
I would have been there. I'm not crazy about the venue.
The location's not that. The location's a little, it's off of a couple different highway roads to get into the neighborhood that's around, and there's not as much around it. That it's one thing that they definitely need to.
And the seating staff was just not friendly. It was just not a friendly vibe in there. It just was not.
That makes a difference. That makes a difference. I've talked to
I'm like, no, you can't go in this way to your seat. No, you got to come around this way. And I'm like, okay, I'm in section 2. I'm in the middle. Does it matter if I go left middle or right middle? And they're like trying to give me a hard time. I'm like, I want to go, I'm on this side and I'll just walk across to my seat. It's about halfway either way. And I mean, it just was, but once the music got going, it was a very happy place.
I trust your venue and staff and customer service reviews. I mean, I trust all you guys on that front. You guys are, I mean, that's the thing. TTB fans, I think, are expert concert goers, expert levels fans in a lot of ways, because who goes to one TTB concert? If you're going to one, you're going to go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, as many as you can get to, really. So you kind of get a sense of where's the most friendly serves and customer service. And you guys tell me about it, and it's great.
Yeah, it was. I got to call them out. We did run into a guy. As we were walking in, I looked at this guy, and he had on a shirt, and I think it was, I don't know if it was a picture of him and Susan or something on, like a homemade shirt, and it had something like 100th show. And he was wearing that. And I said, when was your 100th or whatever? He said, oh, was that I'm up to, XYZ. And I said, my wife did a shirt for me for my 100th. And so it's pretty cool. So we were kind of chatting.
How do you not know this person already? And how?
I didn't know him, man. The guy's he's over 100 shows.
Yeah.
And,
how do you guys not have crossed paths? Or you probably have.
Yeah, it was a nice chat. But I couldn't believe it that had not met the guy. We did see buddy Richie from Atlanta was up there. As I said, Michael, he was at the Franklin show before, and some other couple of people that we met up in Charlotte before were there. So we did see a few familiar faces, some sticks in the mud that, wanted to sit down, and a little bit of, I sent over to you, Adam. I don't know if you got it.
I'm literally trying to load it right now.
And I wanted to ask Joe and Michael if they had that at their venues as well. What does it say? Let me. Can you get it? Yeah. TTB invites you to dance. Okay.
Yeah, they had that up in. I've seen that at a few different venues.
And this lady sitting behind us, we paid the premium, the whatever it is, TTB premium pack, and we were effing front row, and we spent the money, and we wanted to enjoy our front row experience. And the lady behind, I guess, was afraid to say something, said something to Ann, hey, could y'all sit down a little bit or something or whatever. And so Ann, graciously, she said something to me. She sat down. We switched seats some. So I was on this one and she was on this one standing. We sat down a little bit. And damn it, she didn't even say thank you or anything. Not anything to say as we interrupted our experience for her. And she didn't even have the decency to say thank you.
Yeah, that's not.
Ann sat down for a number of songs. I sat down for a couple, and not even you're asking us to give up our experience for you. And we did some of that, and not even a nibble of a thank you.
You were diplomatic and considerate, right. And they were
we were trying to be considerate, but the people bitching weren't considerate to even say thank you.
They should be what they really, you know, what they really
else
should
on the
do.
front row. Everybody else on the front row was like standing. We were like the only. I said to Ann, I said, we're the only ones sitting on the front row. Everybody else is standing. And Joe, that front row is like 50 seats long. It's like ridiculous. And I'm looking to my left. I'm looking to my right. Everybody's standing. And
they should buy you a drink. They should buy you a drink. They should buy you a drink. And
we were in the third row, and we did have some of the sit stand contention go on a little bit, but I have a bad back, so I can't stand for a whole show anyways. So I actually sat for most of the show on Friday night. People were standing in the second row and the first row in front of me. But I know my body, my limitations. I'm not going to complain about the experience when I know I'm still in the third row at a Tedeschi truck show. I'm listening to the music. Yeah, I want to see everything too, but I know I can't stand that whole time. So I sit and I don't worry about it. But if I want to stand, I'm going to stand. And I get it. So I understand. But we did have some of that contention. They didn't. If they posted that, I didn't remember seeing it, so I don't know.
Well, I had a young kid because I had a young kid sitting next to me, and he's like, "I'm standing the whole time." I'm, you know, and then I saw them post that like before they came out, and I was like, "Oh, okay, you know, here's."
Are we all gonna get tattoos of this?
You know,
all the standards.
Just hand that card out. But I mean, again, almost everybody was standing around. You know, again, when you're on the front row, you're facing forward. You really don't know what's going on behind you, right? I mean, somebody could have been having a baby in the second row or a heart attack, and I wouldn't have known. You know, it was, you know, when you get the front row, it's you're just focused in. Because like you, Joe, some's on third, fourth row, and I've got to, you know, I usually get the guy that's 6'5" in front of me. But hey, he got the front row ticket. I didn't. You know, he beat me to the punch.
Yeah,
that good on him. You know. Yep. And he paid maybe even a premium. You know, you gotta go and you gotta, you know, like you did. You make your move when you can stand, or I lean to the left a little bit if I can see this. I lean to the right. You know, it's a freaking concert. You make it work. You know, experience it. I mean, just to be sitting there like this, you know, it's like I don't know. You know, I'm not sure
what I don't like about it. What I don't like about it though, David, is that it gets when it gets contentious and you hear it like we actually thought on Friday night where we were going to have to go get security.
When adults act like children.
Yeah. And then what you're doing then is I understand if you're in the fourth or fifth row and someone in the first row is standing and now you've missed and you might not be able to stand and everything. I understand that because I'm in that situation. But at the same time, to then start yelling and screaming at the people standing while you're not only messing with you're messing with everybody's experience. Then you're not. It's not just that person's blocking you, and that's the part that's like, okay, look, we understand you can't see because these people are standing, but you can still hear and feel the music. It's inside you. You should be able to. You know, I get that. But I don't know. I guess because I sit and stand when I want to, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
great poster.
Yeah, they escalate this situation and make it worse. The original complaint is you're taking away from my experience and causing a distraction by blocking whatever. But then they escalate the situation and make noise and make conflict and cause drama and like anyone who's escalating. If you're escalating a situation, you're not being helpful. This poster.
I wonder if they got that poster. There's a big cat reserve here in North Carolina. I wonder if they got the inspiration for that from that.
I thought it was for the football team, kind of for the Panthers.
Could be for the Panthers, yeah, exactly.
But I didn't know. I thought Panthers.
No, that makes even better sense since I live in Charlotte. But
that's what I thought.
I
Joe. I don't know.
Games. I'm a Giants fan, so
they beat the Jets today.
We get our own pain being Giants fans after the Broncos came back and beat us in the fourth.
I actually caught
I listened to the whole end of that. I was out driving. I was like, wow.
Yeah, the Jets are. Forget that. I have to talk about and listen to Tedeschi trucks to get over how awful the Jets are. But this poster is pretty incredible.
Yeah, people were buzzing over that poster yesterday. Yeah, there was a buzz.
Were there foil ones or no?
Visceral.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know, Michael. I don't know.
Because that seems to be the trend. There's fewer
Yeah.
markets where they do foil.
Yeah, I know they had the foil down in Macon. I know there was, the foil version there.
I heard Kevin Price said they made 16.
Oh, wow.
Alexandra Fisher is the artist on the poster. The other one was Maxwell Wesolowski, the Raleigh one.
I
I didn't even see the Raleigh one. Could you show that one?
Yeah, I can do that. Hold on a second.
Putting you on the spot.
No,
But
he has the skill set.
He's well schooled as a host of a
mouse operator.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah, right. For the love of the game, right here.
That's it. You know it. This is the.
So what's
Raleigh.
the Raleigh connection here?
I was gonna ask you guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It's a cardinal. Does it sound like St. Louis, or is it not?
So he's got a nest inside the body of the guitar.
Right.
Bird nest, I guess, is in there, and
the trumpet
and
the trumpet and the
trombone.
Intersect.
Is there always a tie, direct tie, or is sometimes it's just an artist
Yeah,
inspiration?
could just be.
I don't know.
There's almost always a tie.
I'm not getting the connection right now. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not
visual enough. A Raleigh expert who knows the.
What do we not know about Raleigh?
I know. Well, I mean, I lived there for a long time. I hope I know a little bit more, but I'm not making the connection from this poster right now. So I was there for like almost 28 years, so I do have a little experience with it.
Is that a cardinal?
Yes, it is, but I don't know what the cardinal and the rest of the way the instruments are and how they're linking it together, because I'm not seeing.
We're still processing it. Maybe. Maybe the answers will come to us.
Is that a drum head? The white, is that?
It might be.
Is that that a drum head?
Looks like it is. Yeah.
Is that you think?
The border around it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like all the instruments.
Yeah, because if you look at the sticks at the top, they're drumsticks.
Those are all drumsticks.
Yeah,
all those. Okay.
Maybe it represents that they're mining music from the old days, and this is kind of a metaphoric repretation of that. Look out, your guitar.
Does the bird represent the singers? Their vocal instrument? I don't know. I'm stretching here.
Need to send an email to the artist.
I like it though. It has a lot of dimension.
Oh yeah.
And color. It pops.
Yeah.
But that cat is something.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Yeah.
Can't believe I didn't even think of the Panthers connection, because I guess I don't think of the football team.
Well, that should be St. Augustine, because Jacksonville's in Florida.
Right.
The Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
Oh, Jaguars.
We did. They had a Jaguar poster at one of the Jacksonville shows a couple of years ago. They had a really cool Jaguar poster for TTB. Yeah, it was really cool.
I don't think this would be representative of the football team. No, I just don't.
Well, that's why I was wondering.
I've not seen a poster that evokes something like this. That like visceral.
But it's got the colors. The colors are the Carolina Panthers colors, so that would make a little bit more sense. But that's why I also thought about the Big Cat Rescue in North Carolina, because that people they checked because there's a lot of different animals there.
That sounds more like it.
But I don't know. Who knows? But I mean, also in the colors of the Panthers could make sense if it was inspiration from that. But
I want to do like a NCAA style bracket with all the. I mean, they've had more than 64 posters, so a gigantic bracket. What's 60? Like maybe a few hundred or something like that, and do the all-time greatest TTB poster.
So you guys know how long have they been doing them?
Oh,
in terms of every show,
posters. Oh, every show. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I imagine initially there was not a poster for every. There still isn't a poster for every single show.
Right,
but like, if you say if they've done, how many shows has TTB played? Thousands.
I bought my first T-shirt at a 2015 show in Chattanooga. That was my first TTB T-shirt. 2015 in Chattanooga. It was the first shirt I bought. Hey, I wanted to go back, Joe. I looked up the Christmas Jam show in 15.
Yeah.
Set list. Don't know what it means. The Letter. I Want More. Bird on the Wire. Keep on Growing with Warren Haynes. The Storm. And With a Little Help from My Friends.
Yep.
That's enough to get somebody addicted, I think.
Yeah, and it worked.
Solid.
Guilty. It worked.
Yeah. That's pretty good back in 2015.
Solid.
And you know, the funny thing about Christmas Jam too is that those sets for the earlier shows are a little bit shorter. You know, it's not until the later in the evening when the sets get longer at Christmas Jam, because you know sometimes they can go to 2, 3 in the morning. You know,
yeah.
2008 with John Paul Jones when they went to like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I think I went. I was one time. I was 2 something. I think 2:30 before we got out of there one night. Yeah. I've only been to 2 of them, but hopefully, like I said, might go again this year. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I've only been to 2 as well. I went to that one, and then I went to the last one that Phil Lesh was at when that Phil and Friends played that last Christmas Jam just a couple of years ago. So
I'm trying to think which one. The other one I went to, it snowed. The other one I went to, we had a hard time. We had a hard time getting from Atlanta up to Asheville.
Was that the one that Dave Grohl played with?
No.
Okay.
No.
How many has he had Christmas jams?
He's over 30.
Yeah,
about 30 now. The only reason
That's
it's not
an
consistent.
annual event, I gather.
Well, yeah, it's they're not consistent because between the pandemic and some other issues that happened over the last couple of years. But it was like when the one I went to was like 27th at that time. So it's the Christmas jams are up there as far as that amount. I mean, I've only been to 2, but it was so much fun.
There was an issue with his brother getting in trouble with the city, and they wound up canceling it partially for a number of years because of that.
Yeah.
Warren got so pissed off at everybody.
The 33rd one is this year.
Trying to think of who else out of the other show. I can't think of the other one that I saw there. Who can't recall right now.
Don't worry, David. I've been realizing that my memory recall on certain shows is not what I thought it was. I used.
There's a reason we pull up the set list when we discuss the show. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Is there anything else about any of the 3 shows you guys have talked about? I appreciate everyone's time. We've been chatting an hour and a quarter.
It's coming to be sad that it's the year of TTB's coming to an end. So
they're gonna add some shows and do some things here and there, either towards the end of this year still or beginning of next year that are not on the tour schedule on the website. It's too big of a chunk for there to be no TTB content. I feel like we're gonna see.
Well, maybe with what they're putting together with their album, maybe they're giving themselves a little bit of break to try to put that together.
Sure, I imagine there's definitely going to be time off involved, but between Gabe and side projects and side things, and Susan Derrick will pop on stage, I'm sure, somewhere with somebody, or maybe they'll do a private show at one of these theaters or whatever. There's one of these members only. I don't know. You never know what.
You don't know.
But the new music coming next year.
Hopefully they show up at Christmas Jam. We'll see. So you never.
There you go. Exactly. That's like the type of thing we could see Derek or Susan or TT.
For people out there, Kebbi's doing another one of his Music in the Park here in Atlanta.
When is that?
I guess he's hustling back because they're St. Augustine's the 24th and 25th, and his day in the park is Sunday the 26th. So I guess he's hustling back from St. Augustine, and he puts on a good time. If we can make it back from our 6-hour drive Sunday morning, I'll see if I can get her. It was 4 hours, Charlotte. We drove up Saturday morning and came back this morning, and this 66-year-old body is exhausted, but it was well worth it.
I remember Kebbi Music in the Park being something similar, I think last year, where there was a TTB show like the night before, and he was hustling there. And then I remember talking to you or our friend Keith.
I think he actually played in Atlanta. I think they were in Atlanta playing though that time. I think it was the show the night before was in Atlanta, so he was.
Oh,
yeah, I think
they were in town.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, but it's a great event. He does a lot for the kids and music here in Atlanta. He's a big promoter of the kids and learning music, and he does sometimes like it's a battle of the bands. They'll have the drum lines for different high schools and stuff come out and everything. It's a really cool event.
He always does. He's known for doing that in tour cities too, just finding what schools, what youth organizations he can connect with and share music with them and teach and learn and mentor, I guess is the right word. That's what he likes to do on his day off, just for fun and not even like for any sort of recognition or press, or it's just because he wants to, because it's fun and it's just a good thing to do. It's the type of person he is.
Yep.
So I think one of the last times I was here, we speculated about, has Derek ever spoken from the stage during a TTB show? And I have now heard the evidence of that.
Oh yeah.
It's on the Mad Dogs when Leon comes up, and Derek introduces Leon, which that would be the one time. It would be because it was Leon.
At least the one time. Now I feel like there's been a couple.
Okay, well, what are they? Come on. No, I'm confused.
I think
wasn't there some kind of technical thing?
I think with Derek Truck's band, once he might have said something there. But I tell you, at a TTB show, a regular TTB show, I am in my 100+. I don't think so. I'll tell you a funny story, Mike. I might have told it before, but at the Fox, I don't know, it was last year, whatever. They were getting ready to run the encore or something, and Derek leans over and says something to Susan. And Susan says, "You tell them, you talk to the people, honey." And I've never seen Susan laugh so hard in my life. She was trying to get him to say whatever he had kind of whispered to her. And
maybe that's what I was thinking of.
It's on video, Michael. It is hilarious.
Was that the last night? Was that the last night of the Fox last year?
I'm not sure if it was. It was 2-night run. I'm not sure which one. I have to go back and I'll find it. But it was. I've never seen her laugh so hard in my life. And she's like, "Talk to the people, honey. Talk to the people." And it was. I mean, it was hilarious. It really was funny.
I think it's just a can of worms that Derek probably doesn't want to open up at this point. It's not that he's uncomfortable speaking. He does interviews, does whatever, and has a very public facing job. He's articulate and intelligent and all this. But I just think it's like, why even open that can of worms? And it really is all about the music, and his instrument is not his voice or his vocal anyway. So why even go there? Susan's more or less, like I've described, almost like the MC, the communicator to the crowd, and Derek's the musical director, kind of directing everything. So I think they kind of have those defined roles, and all hardcore TTB fans like us are not really looking for or expecting that, or at this point in our fandom really even thinking about. I wish Derek would say something tonight. No one's really ever has that thought anyway.
He speaks volumes with the way he plays, and that's all he has to do. He doesn't need to do anything more than what he does already. It's just is what it is, And
I don't think Susan's like the MC. She says so little, really, when it comes down to it. It's not like she's. I mean, she will third 3 songs into it, 4 songs. How's everybody doing out there? That's about it.
But she also does, but she does improvise a few things here and there based on what happens, some environment things, or saying something specific to the city, which is not an original thing to do for a rock concert, for a music concert. But she, in her own way, I think makes every show feel that much more special to the people there. And I know that, and you guys know that because we listen to enough live recordings where it's like, we know they're not like mailing it. And I think of that. It was that Snickers commercial, "Need to Get Away," where the guy says, "Hello, Cleveland," and then his guitarist is like, we're in Detroit or whatever. Like, so the band is definitely not that. They're tuned in with each city and where they are. Like, there's space in the city, there's space in the music. Like, they have an awareness to them. And we've talked about that too. I remember Michael talking about how much TTB values history and his music history in every single location they go to. We know they're obviously visiting museums and historical sites or playing at these types of places when they travel and tour.
And they have good friends who are in the music scenes in the varying cities. It seems probably like almost every one. Well, I can't speak to each stop and who it might be, but they're plugged in.
How do you remember anyone when you connect? I don't know. I always ask this: how many people can you know? How many people names can you remember? Like, what is that like? Sort of, because you just meet so many different people over the years. Even like people like you've like these musicians like reconnect with. How do you remember all these people?
I think when these musicians are on that high of a level, they're into memorizing. They've got it all down. I mean, they've got the ability to just do it. They're like in a different world. So
their brains are wired differently.
And I would assume that would equal that they're not going, oh, I don't remember that person's name. But I don't know.
If you think about the way the synapses fire and all that stuff and memory and how it links to music, and they talk about how that trains your brain in so many different ways and how they have to remember how to play and everything else. I mean, we know there's plenty of people out there that play sheet music to be able to do whatever they're doing as a musician, but in rock and roll and blues and everything else with jam bands, they don't do that. So they have to have a different way to. I'm sure like everybody, they probably also have those moments of where they can't remember names, but I think it's just part of what
are you sure?
I could tell you, I saw a great meme on Facebook, and it was one of Bill Murray, and he's throwing a golf club, and what it says is me 5 minutes after I just got somebody's name. I do that, and I do it in business. But what I do in business is when we're not on a Teams call or whatever, if I'm in a room with folks, I make a little map of every person and I write down their name because I struggle like that. So I imagine though, with the way these folks have to meet so many different people, they probably have a little bit more training in that recall that because of the way music makes their brain work.
They're great. The band, not just Derek and Susan's, but the band is I would say very graceful in how they carry themselves, like publicly, like, after shows, before shows, just from, rubbing shoulders with members over the years and talking to you guys and all those fans, like having interactions with crew and just watching them even in interviews, and just they have a grace about the way they carry themselves.
It's down to earth. It's like there's no pretension. They're just being themselves, and they're
exactly where I was going with that, Michael.
And they're comfortable being themselves.
Yep.
And Derek always says Susan has the hardest job. She has to remember all the lyrics.
And he can just improvise. I think I might have heard one bad note at Red Rocks. I'd have to go back and look. But that's the thing. I go to these shows and go, I don't remember bad notes ever being that I could hear. They could probably hear it, but
I was going to say, he just has to sometimes cue her when to come in, when to sing those words. He might not know what the words are, but I think sometimes, I mean, I could be mistaken about this, but I think she does, like we all do, kind of get lost sometimes in the music and what Derek and the band is doing. You could almost forget. It's like, oh, my turn is coming up, because you get so lost in the groove.
And I saw the opposite in Nashville, where she actually got done, and then she looked at Derek, and then he started soloing. That was the first time.
Oh wow!
I saw that happen.
Yeah, they get that. I think that happened. Yeah, I guess it's not just in that respect that I was describing it. It's they all can. You can easily become a fan and forget to. You become a spectator versus just a listener versus an active participant, as opposed to achieving a balance, I guess, between those three things at all times.
Yeah, we had a little thing last night during Made Up Mind. She came up to the microphone and almost didn't, almost missed her cue, and she smiled and kind of lunged at the microphone. She was kind of into it, and it was.
And then there's
really,
the times where, and then there's the times that he's pushing her to go around again to do another 4 measures or whatever it is on a blues solo, on a guitar solo, and we're not sure, and she's not sure, and no, go there. It's the closest, I guess, we can see to almost maybe like a public argument. Well, they've had funny moments sometimes on some different podcasts and interviews and things like that. But
if somebody finds
yeah,
that leaving trunk from last night somewhere, send it my way. Michael, I just sent you. I think it's the show. I just sent it to you. I think it's the June 24th, 23 from the Fox. And they put together a whole video of the show. It's really cool, video, audio of it. And I think that's where you'll see the funny thing with Susan. And hopefully I'll have an answer for you tomorrow on that ticket for St. Augustine. I haven't heard back from my buddy yet, so I'll circle with you tomorrow.
So how big is that amphitheater? Is it like 4,000?
Yeah, it's not too big. St. Augustine, it's not too big.
Yeah, well, I figured that out last year when I went to the Fox, last night at the Fox in Atlanta, and I thought that was, are you kidding me, kind of a show. And then that inspired me to do what I've done this year. But I was looking for markers. What should, I can't go to everything, and I have to fly in from Denver. So again, it was like, okay, I'm going to the last night.
Flying in, last night is just, from having these conversations, listening to tapes, audio, photos, talking to fans, it's like those sort of end of year family and friends shows that are either in New England, Boston, or in Florida, Atlanta, Jacksonville, wherever there's roots, and there's going to be, those are good shows to get to. But like I was saying, they make every city feel like it's its own unique, special,
sometimes
special thing for different reasons.
Tuesday night in Des Moines could be the hot spot. You never know with these guys, right? You never know.
That they'll bust out a new song. There's they'll try something new. Just the set list is unique in some regard.
Well, I've been to Boston 2 years in a row, and this year when they ended with Friends, A Little Help from My Friends, and Susan was unleashed, unchained. I've never seen that much knee coming out, her body language was just so. And the thing I seem to have noticed this year is that she seems to be just in a perfect state, really happy, really into it every show. And there's definitely moments where it's even more so. Like
I think the breaks maybe help, having the time off, and obviously having other vocalists in the band. I think that helps sustain her. They keep her fresh. You got to keep Susan fresh, and you got to keep Gabe well fed, and you got to keep Alecia well fed, and Mark well fed. You got and make sure Brandon's audible, and I think maybe even is there almost like a visual component to Brandon being kind of in his own. He's got that whole left side of the stage is like all him next to Derek, so maybe that kind of like singles him out more, gives him more space. Creatively, maybe we're hearing him differently because of the setup too. Maybe there's something to position on the stage.
That reminds me. So last night, Bradley's, obviously he's always in the well there taking pictures and stuff. So he's kind of slid over and he's kind of in front of Brandon. It looks like he's trying to get a picture, and Brandon's sideways, so he's like this, kind of facing Derek, and Derek just starts to move over towards Brandon. And he's like moving over and he's smiling and trying to get Brandon to face the front so Bradley can take a picture. And it was just so funny to watch Derek and Brandon. He held his ground. It was funny. He did not.
So Derek was trying to get Brandon to position himself better for a photo, and Brandon wasn't having it. And this is all while they're playing. And this is all while they're playing.
And you get Derek just moving over, and you can see the kind of the shit-eating grin on his face as he's kind of moving over there. It was really hilarious. And I don't know if Brandon just didn't get what he was trying to do or whatnot, but Brandon was just
maybe. He
was still hitting his lines, but he did not face front at all. It was pretty funny.
So which is the song that Derek and Brandon normally do a back and forth? Because they did it in Nashville. I'm not remembering.
Maybe
I Want More.
James sometime.
Or I Want More, maybe.
And so then the reinforcement was only showing Derek, and Derek's right over with him, and they're trading back and forth, and Brandon just, it's the moment, and they just showed Derek on the screen. So,
did you see? I'm sure you saw. They wished Brandon happy birthday.
I was just thinking that.
And somebody posted, "Hey, you got Derek to sing."
No, that's me. That was my caption.
Is that you?
Derek Trucks does sing.
Yeah, he sang happy birthday. That was great. That was funny. Way to go. That was great.
So the funny thing about that is that Friday was also a friend of mine who I know from a Giants fan club in Raleigh. He's friends with Gabe. He played in a high school band with Gabe. It was his birthday on Friday, and so they were backstage with him, with them on Friday, celebrating Brendan's birthday. So they were all back there. So it was just kind of funny. It was like, you know, he happens to be one of Gabe's. They played in a band together when Gabe was in high school.
Cool.
So
Very
Should
cool.
you see Gabe's caption today about Reese and him, and how he was
Yeah.
such a huge influence on him? It was very well spoken about how that all was.
Yeah, I think Reese jammed with them when they were forming, right? I mean,
he was
involved.
in.
Yeah.
He was in the what were they called? It was the group that Barry Oakley and Dickie was in.
Oh, Second Coming.
Yep, that was the group Reese was in. And then they all got together to jam, and Reese was there for that. He was participating, but then it was the politics of, no, we're not going to have two keyboard players. And who was the other one? Greg.
Yeah.
I can
Baby
read
Brothers
this.
who would take the spot.
Yeah, that's a good caption from
Yeah.
I've been a
Gabe.
big fan of Reese Winans playing since I saw him play on Austin City Limits with Stevie Ray Vaughan when I was a kid. I can't begin to tell you what a huge honor it was to have him sit in with me in Tedeschi Trucks Band at the Franklin TN show a few days ago. He is without a doubt one of my biggest keyboard playing influences. I was trying to copy all his licks when I was a teenager, and then when I was 15 years old, I couldn't believe my luck when he started sitting in every Monday night with Mike Henderson and the Blue Bloods at the Bluebird Cafe,
Bluebird
just a couple of
Cafe.
miles from my parents' house. I think every young aspiring musician has a moment when they think they're good at their instrument, and then they see someone who is a true master, and it makes them want to go home and practice. Reese was that master for me. The first time I saw him play boogie woogie piano with the Bluebird, I was sitting 5 feet away from him, watching every note. And it was right then and there that I realized I sucked at piano. I practiced a whole lot after that. Thank you for that inspiration, Reese. You're a living legend, and you sound better than ever. And that's a photo by Bradley.
Yeah, and it was really fun being there for that performance.
Love to see when the people that we really kind of, you know, idolize and dig, seeing them be fans of other people, right? We're fans of them, and to see them be fans of other people, you know, it's like Susan when you see her dancing when the brothers are playing, you know, and I'm like, shoot, that's what I'm doing at your show. It's nice that you feel that, you know, she hears music that makes her do that too. So it's
the cardinal is the official state bird of North Carolina. There you go.
There you
Already
go.
free. That's a good song.
Thank you, Mr. or Mrs. Free.
Already free. This TTB should do that one.
Yeah.
His song, his name could have, that person's name could have been any song title, like, oh, TTB, but could have done, like, TTB makes every song their own. They make up every song great. They capture the spirit of all the covers that they do. On that note, anything else we should cover or talk about? I appreciate the time, guys. I know I've taken up a bunch of it. I feel like we could talk about this band all day.
Thanks
Well,
as always, Adam. Joe,
Thank you,
Michael,
guys.
great to see you guys.
Adam,
Nice
you
to
are
see
you
y'all.
are the man. You're the man. You keep it together here for us.
Oh, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. Weedside, Woodside. I'll get the audio version out soon, and let's talk soon. We'll talk soon, and we'll do it again. Thank you, band crew. Thank you, Michael, Joe, David, listeners, chat, everybody. All right, guys. Later.
Have a good night.
Peace.